This episode is brought to you by Shopify. Do you have a point of sale system you can trust, or is it a real POS? You need Shopify for retail. From accepting payments to managing inventory, Shopify POS has everything you need to sell in person. Go to shopify.com/system, all lowercase, to take your retail business to the next level today. That's shopify.com/system.
Today on CityCast Houston, what makes a Houstonian a real Houstonian? I'm playing back one of my favorite episodes with producer Carlignon Jones and Hey Houston newsletter editor Brooke Lewis, where we attempt to lay out experiences and quirky things that make us, us, by answering the following. You're not a real Houstonian until you've... It's Thursday, June 6th. I'm Raheel Ramzanali, and here's what Houston's talking about. Hey, Carlignon. Hey, Brooke. So we're going to have a little fun today, all right? And basically, we're putting together a list of things that will earn Houstonians their Houston badges. And of course, we have so many people moving here, so we got to let them in on things they need to do to really become Houstonians. So, Carly, start us off. You're not a real Houstonian until you've...
I feel like you're not really a Houstonian until you experience a Houston winter. Now, when I say a Houston winter, this includes not knowing how to drive in the snow, a canceled work or school day because people just simply don't know how to navigate through small amounts of ice, or panicking every year that it's cold outside. I mean, it's every year we get like at least 30-degree weather, but nobody goes to buy a real jacket. We still don't have real jackets, just hoodies.
That is so true. Houston winter is different. Everyone makes fun of us. Like the whole city shuts down when it gets to 20 degrees, but we're not built for this.
No.
All right. We don't have that. Same thing happens in the Northeast. Everyone starts shutting down in the Northeast when the temp hits 90 degrees, and we laugh at them like, what? 90 degrees? That's a cool day in the city of Houston. So for all the northern cities that make fun of us, relax, okay? You guys panic at 90 degrees.
I think it's so true that we don't own a real coat, or if we do, it's just like we want to look cute. Like that's the only reason why we bought it, like to look cute, a coat, some boots, but not to actually use them for real winter weather.
I think we just have it in our minds at this point that no matter what, everything is going to shut down. So I feel like TexDoc probably was thinking about it like, they're not going to be on the road. Why would I go waste my saw or anything like that whenever they're going to be in the house anyway? And it's also so funny when people move from the north and they stay here for a couple years, they get to the point where this is like super cold weather to them too. Like my dad's from Pittsburgh, and at this point he can't handle it anymore. Like even though you grew up in the snow, he cannot handle it anymore.
Yeah, it's different. It's different down here. Mm-hmm. Hey, Brooke, what's your first one?
So my first one is, I feel like no surprises because I feel like I'm the team rodeo person on this team. Besides maybe Raheel, he also loves it. But I'm like, you're not a Houstonian until you go to the rodeo. It's just a rite of passage. Like go through the rodeo, try all the food, go to a concert, experience it. Because I think that's what people think of Houstonians when they think of the rodeo. They think we're walking around in our cowboy boots, our cowboy hats, but it just happens for like a small period of time when we just all embrace our Texan identity. And so you just got to go through it and you're going to have a blast.
Can I add one to yours? This isn't my first one, okay? But you're not a real Houstonian until you've enjoyed deep fried butter or deep fried cheesecake at the rodeo.
Yes,
deep fried butter. Oh, no.
Oh, it's so good. It's the best waffle you'll ever eat. That's the best way to describe it. Deep fried butter is one of my favorite things.
Oh, my
just
God.
Deep fried
I can't wait
anything.
For the rodeo.
Just anything deep
anything.
fried. And just like the barbecue. Oh, my gosh. Just thinking about that. Like that gets me excited for the rodeo. Just the food. Like even if there's nobody that I'm truly looking forward to seeing, like if I can just spend a day eating there, I'm happy.
I love that one. Okay, my first one. You're not a real Houstonian until you've honked at somebody in traffic and instantly regretted it, okay? We all do this. You knew my traffic one was going to be the first one, right? Because I always have a good traffic story. But the other day, I got mad at some guy who was driving in front of us, okay? And I just started yelling. And my older daughter was in the car. And she just starts laughing like, Dad, what is wrong with you? I think I just said something along the lines like, what are you doing? Pay attention. Come on, man. I didn't honk or anything. And my daughter just lost it. She's like, he didn't even hear you. Why are you freaking out? And I just said, look, it's better than me honking because I didn't tell her like I don't want to get shot or anything, but I just told her, yeah, because you never know how other people react to a honk.
Mhm.
So yeah, if you haven't honked at somebody and just regretted it, you're not a Houstonian.
Just don't honk. It's so scary. I was on 610 and I saw this girl on her phone. And so she was not paying attention and she was going really, really slow, bagging up like a whole line of traffic. And I was just waiting for the moment of road rage to step in because this guy was in a giant pickup truck and he swerved around her. I was near it. I was like, something bad's going to happen. He didn't honk. I think you also adding to that, you're not a Houstonian until you swerve in front of somebody to like either cut them off or to escape like a long line and you just want to get out. Like I feel like you have to swerve. So that's another thing.
I'm like so scared of honking though. Like at this point,
Yes.
even if I'm at like a red light and it turns green and the person in front of me is like just sitting there, like I'll honk, but it's only because like you have to move at this point. But like besides that, like road rage is just too bad down here. I'm scared of honking.
Yeah, I think we all need to just relax. If you get honked at, it's because you're doing something wrong.
Mhm.
So like, don't take it personally. Okay, get off your phone and just say, you know what? I was wrong. You know what? I accept it. Or I was at the red light and I didn't see it turn green because I'm on my phone. Just accept the honk. Okay, stop reacting so overly negative because of a honk. Carly, what's your next one?
Okay, so mine has to do with traffic too, because I feel like you're not a Houstonian until you've either busted a tire or gotten a random fender bender. Now, when I say a random fender bender, I mean like out of nowhere. Like you're just casually sitting at a light or anything like that, and someone just comes up behind you, not paying attention, and boom, like it's just always happening in a parking lot, anything like that.
Oh.
You're going to have some type of car trouble. And if you have not had car trouble in Houston, I don't know what you're doing. Like, you must be like a magical unicorn or something at this point, because it's crazy. And then also another one is when you're driving, if you haven't seen a car on fire, you're not a real Houstonian. I've seen like 20 cars on fire at this point, and I'm always wondering, like, how did that happen? You're a single car on the road by yourself, just in flames.
That's such a good one. That's such a good one. We wish everyone's safe, okay, by the way, and like everyone got out. But yeah, for whatever reason, there's a stretch, whether like from 59 north from downtown to Humble, and then 45 south from Beltway 8 to Galveston, you always see a car on fire. Like those two roads, for whatever reason, at least for me, I've seen more cars on fire during those two stretches than anywhere else.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I love that you said random fender bender, because it is. It's never like something that is your fault. It's just like somebody wasn't paying attention. That happened to me, honestly, last year near the Heights area. Someone wasn't paying attention and just boom, back of my car hit. Didn't even know what happened. It was actually a good situation. You know, they paid for my damage, but it was just like not expected. Just
Ooh,
random.
that's another thing. And everybody that hits you half the time, they do not have insurance. So watch out, people.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Make sure your uninsured driver coverage is really good in Houston because it will happen.
Yes.
Brooke, what's your next one?
So my next one is food related because we love our food here in Houston. And I just don't feel like you're a true Houstonian until you've stood in line for some kind of new hyped up restaurant. And the one I'm thinking about right now is Trill Burgers. And the people that stood in line when it was 100 plus outside, I would drive by and I would see these poor people sweating, waiting for their burger. And look, the burger's good because I've had it. Carly, I know, has had it because we had it together at the rodeo. But it's just, people love their food here and they will stand in line in any condition to get their food. So you're not a true Houstonian until you've done that.
That is such a good one. For sure. In the last, I want to say 10 years, like since that food boom happened here, it has definitely become a part of our culture where we are standing in lines. We are at these hyped up restaurants and we appreciate it. That's a good thing that we have this here now.
Do you want to guess how long me and Brooke stood in that line for that burger?
Ooh, at the rodeo, this was a pop-up, so they're probably not serving as fast. I'm going to say an hour.
2. I'm pretty sure it was 2.
What? Oh my gosh, y'all waited 2 hours to eat a burger?
It was all for CityCast. It was for the CityCasters to tell y'all if the
Okay.
burger was good or not. That's real love. Y'all see how much we love y'all? 2 hours, my feet were hurting. I had on boots, heel boots. I wanted to cry.
Oh man, Carly. Y'all are, you know what, dedicated. I love that. Dedication.
Yes.
My wife and I went to Trill Burgers when the hype finally died down. And when we hit the 15-minute mark, we were like, okay, we're kind of over this. Can we just get our food? we're
15
older,
minutes is
okay? We're
nothing.
old people. I don't want to wait in line. Okay?
Look, there's people dedicated in the Breakfast Club line now, waiting to
Yeah.
get Breakfast Club. Like they're here for it. People stand in line all the time across Houston. It's so funny. I love it.
So many places where you got lines.
This episode is brought to you by Shopify. Do you have a point of sale system you can trust, or is it a real POS? You need Shopify for retail. From accepting payments to managing inventory, Shopify POS has everything you need to sell in person. Go to shopify.com/system, all lowercase, to take your retail business to the next level today. That's shopify.com/system.
Okay, my next one is one that I don't know if y'all will feel the same way as I do, but here it is. You aren't a real Houstonian until you know why there's a random Sphinx head on an Egyptian-themed building on 59 near the Shepherd exit. Do y'all know about that building?
No.
No.
You guys have
Like,
never noticed an Egyptian-themed building on 59 by the Shepherd exit?
I feel like I should, because this is like, I take that exit. So like, I don't know.
What?
No.
Oh my gosh, Houstonian card revoked.
Oh no.
For those of y'all who don't know, that building is called Magic Island. It was a huge experience restaurant back in the 90s and probably earlier. I just know it from the 90s because that's when I grew up here. And you would go in there and it was like an Egyptian themed restaurant and they had shows and it was where you would take your date. That's where you would propose back in the day.
Whoa.
The building does have some LED lights at night that you can see, like it's lit up a little bit better. But yeah, that's Magic Island. And if you don't know about that, you're not a real Houstonian.
Wow. I don't know if we're real Houstonians, Carly. I mean, I thought I was. I thought I was until this conversation.
I was doing so good. I was checking off all the boxes. Everybody was going. I'm like, okay, I got this. Then we get to this. And I'm like, I don't even know what you're talking about.
I mean, y'all can pull up a picture. Just Google Magic Island. I've also linked it in our show notes. So for those of you who are listening, you can find that image. But yeah, once you see the picture, you'll know exactly what it is.
No, so I just Googled the picture. I'm still lost. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, I still have not. This is not just, I just didn't know.
Okay, I win right now. I think I've got the super Houstonian thing here. Carly, what's your next one?
Okay. You're not a Houstonian until you've either gone to some random person's wedding or event that you don't know because of a family member or a friend dragging you to it. I feel like everybody in Houston is really friendly and you just kind of can pop up places and they're not upset. They're just going to like shake your hand, give you a hug and be like, hello, welcome. But it's just so crazy because there's so many other states and places and cities even that you can go and they're going to be like, what the heck are you, doing here? Like, who are you? But like here, everybody's friendly and showing up to something is just like a rite of passage at this point.
Yeah, that is a good one right there. Random parties or weddings or whatever it may be, you're just going to pull up sometimes, right? Especially in the summer or early spring, I want to say, with crawfish boils.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
I don't know how many random crawfish boils I've been invited to. They're like, yeah, just come up. I know the guy. It'll be fun. It'll be fine. And you pull up and you end up becoming best friends with people because we're so nice here.
Exactly.
Just that Houstonian hospitality.
Mm-hmm.
See, this is where the disconnect happens, right? Like, we're so nice, except when we're in the car, right? Like, it makes no sense.
Yeah.
We're such nice people. We're so inviting. We're smiling at everybody. But the minute we get into those cars, something clicks and we just become the meanest people.
The attitude just gets turned on.
Yeah.
Yes.
Brooke, what's your next one?
So my next one also is another food related, guys, because I'm just in the food mood today. But you're not a real Houstonian until you have your go-to Tex-Mex spot or your go-to taco spot. And I feel like you're just like ride or die Houstonian if you have both. And I think right now I just have my go-to Tex-Mex spots. I don't have my taco spot yet. And it's just because I'm only growing into my taco love. So my go-to right now is usually Los Tios for Tex-Mex in Houston.
Ooh, that is so good. Yeah, I'm going to add on to that one is you're not a real Houstonian until you've pulled over and enjoyed tacos from a random taco truck that you've never been to.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's so good. Like you just see one, you're like, oh yeah, I want to pull over. I'm going to get me a taco. I'm going to spend $3 and enjoy and have like one of the best tacos ever.
Yeah, that's true. I like to go to El Tiempo. That's my Tex-Mex spot. I love that. But it took me a while.
That's a good one.
It took me a while to find a Tex-Mex spot that I was like, okay, consistently like liking. So I finally settled on this one. But the taco truck spot I haven't found just yet. Not yet. But I'll keep y'all updated.
Good. We definitely. And you can listen to our taco primer that Marco did with us. And that's a good one. I've linked that in our show notes as well. Okay, my next one, this might be up for debate, all right? You aren't a real Houstonian until you've taken a ride on the Metro Rail. So we had a listener saying it's time to put some respect on Metro Rail's name. And I kind of agree. I always make little jokes at it, but I sat down and went back and said, look, when I used to work in downtown, I used to take the Metro Rail all the time to go to the Met Center to meet up with my then fiance, now wife. And it was so easy because you jump on, there's usually no wait, it's safe, and you get to your destination really fast. You get a nice little scenic route, and it's so much fun to take. I think it can improve, okay, in terms of getting to more places, and it has grown in the last few years. But I think it's time to put some respect on the Metro Rail's name, and I agree with that listener. And you're not a real Houstonian until you've taken a ride on it.
Yeah, I think it's a rite of passage. And also people just forget about it. But I remember when the Taylor Swift concert happened and parking was crazy, took the Metro Rail right up to the stadium and had a great time. Also during the rodeo, it's a great time to take the Metro Rail. People just forget about it, but it's so cheap and it's actually really easy to use.
See, I kind of disagree with this one because I feel like Houston is a car city. Like if it was New York and you would have said like, you have to take the subway. Okay. But like Houston, most people take cars everywhere. Now I will say like I've ridden the Metro Rail like one time, I think going to a Texans game, but it's like we drove our car, parked the car, and then just because it was a far walk, we got on the Metro Rail to go over there. But that's just because the city is just ridiculously spread out.
Yeah, totally. I agree. That's why it's up for debate on this one. But for me, I was like, you know what? I'm going to give Metro Rail some love here because it is fun.
Okay.
Now, like the actual Metro bus, I don't think I've ever been on a Metro bus now that I'm thinking about it because I use my car.
Yeah. Same.
Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah, never. Wow.
All right, Carly, give me your last one here as we wrap things up.
Okay, so my last one is you're not truly a Houstonian until you know the radio commercials by heart. I feel like we have so many commercials that you could just like start saying part of the phrase. And if there's a Houstonian next to you, they can finish it. Like you can do the Jim Adler commercials.
Yes.
You can do the Mattress Mac commercials. You can do that.
Yes.
I just got hit. You're going to know how to finish the ending of the commercial. That is like a classic Houston thing. And I don't feel like other cities have it like how we do, but our commercials are amazing. They're just hilarious and I love them.
Yeah, we have so many earworms. That's a really good one right there.
Yes.
And then also, you're not a real Houstonian until you just start running into random people that you've like known from years ago, like an ex or anything like that. You're just casually somewhere eating and then boom, they're like right next to you. And
It's so true because I remember when the Love is Blind season came out and they were talking
gosh,
during the
yes.
reunion, all the people who dated had run into their exes. And they were like, how is this possible? Houston is a city of 4 million people. And I think everyone who was watching is like, it's so relatable. You run into people in Houston all the time, even though it's a huge city. It's just because there's certain parts of the city where it's like young people live here. So you're just going to run into the same people all the time, even though we live in such a huge city.
That's the charm of it. It's so big yet so small.
Yeah.
All right, Brooke, what's your last one?
So, knowing things by heart, going off of what Carly said, I feel like you're not a real Houstonian until you know at least one Beyonce song by heart. I mean, come on, guys. You got to know at least one. It's a Houstonian rite of passage. Or if you just know how to finish a line. I feel like Carly can finish this for me. Specifically, I'm going to give her a little hint. It's from Run the World, but
Okay.
This is how they made me.
I'm from Houston, Texas, baby.
Yes.
Yeah.
See? She's got it. She's got it. So you just got to know one, just one Beyonce song and you're in. You're in.
That's such a good one right there. That for real is you're not a real Houstonian until you know a Beyonce song by heart and you can recite it. I love that one. That's such a good one. Okay, my last one. You're not a real Houstonian until you've run through Bush Airport because you were late for your flight due to traffic. And everyone's done it. We've all made the sprint. And you just pray that, come on, please, I just want to make it. I just want to make it. And the great thing about Bush Airport is that it's like 6 miles long. Okay, like, can we not make it a little bit smaller?
PTSD.
Does the airport even have to be like our sprawling city? Can we make it a little bit smaller, please? But real Houstonians have done it. You underestimate traffic, and guess what happens? Boom, you're late.
That is like torture. Like, pure torture. Whenever you were talking, I'm just sitting here getting like complete PTSD of how many times I've had to run through that airport, especially because now they have construction there too. Like,
yes.
Oh my God, you have to show up like 3 hours early just so that you don't have to be a track star through the airport. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Or you just schedule all your flights for Sunday morning. That's what I do. I'm a Sunday morning travel person. You know why? Because I have it down to a science. I know how long it's going to take. I know when I park my car, I can make it to my terminal in X amount of minutes. Sunday morning is a way to go. Always mornings. No matter what, always fly mornings because there's no delays yet.
But it's just, I think the other thing with the airports is just how far they are from like civilization. Like they're so far. Even going to Hobby, I remember my mom and I took a trip during December. They live in Katy. It took us 72 minutes from the airport to get to Katy. And I remember we took an Uber, and even the Uber driver, I think he regretted accepting us. Like once we were in the Uber, he was looking at the map and he saw that it was going to take 72 minutes and he repeated that out loud. And I was like, yeah, you're kind of stuck with us now, but it's crazy. It's crazy.
But he got paid. That's a long trip. He did. Really long. That's a good payout.
He got paid.
Come on, Uber guy.
He got paid. But it was just like, it's crazy how far the airports are from civilization. We need one. Can we put an airport closer to like I don't think it needs to be downtown, but just closer to civilization where people live, like not out in the boonies.
Where are we gonna put it? There's no room for anything.
I know. I was. That's why I hesitated. I was like, I don't think we can put it downtown, but we can put it somewhere closer, somewhere.
Ladies, that was a lot of fun, and I definitely want to hear what our listeners have for us as well. So make sure you send us your suggestions and nominees on Instagram at CityCastHouston. Carly, Brooke, thank you so much.
Thank you.
This was a blast. Thanks.
That was Brooke Lewis and Carlignon Jones. I forgot to add one to our chat. You're not a real Houstonian until you've shared the CityCast Houston podcast with 5 of your friends. That will do it for today. Thank you for listening, and I hope you learned something new. Boom, boom, boom. There's the music, and here's Raheel.